Hey guys, welcome back to Palazzo. And today you are joined by the winners of the Champions League, Apoorv, Dhriman, Anuj, we Chelsea fans, including myself. Welcome to the channel. So excited, guys. So excited. We've nailed it. How do you feel,
Yeah.
guys?
So the last time Chelsea had won was in 2012. Back then, I was in school, did not have access to laptop, newspaper to be able to enjoy that moment. But this time, had everything, watched all the matches. This is amazing.
Yeah,
What's
I mean, I
Apoorv?
was the lucky one. I think I was the lucky one who saw the match live in 2012. I had to sneak up to the TV room and watch it on a very low volume. And I remember, like, I couldn't. I mean, I was shivering when Drogba was about to take the penalty, and I mean, I was just happy for weeks after that match. But I think, like, in Corona times, this is a very positive news. At least something positive.
So for me, in 2012, I was in engineering. Yeah, so even I saw the match with all the vibes that are required uh, in the mess, and it was really awesome. And within a span of 10 minutes, like the last 10 minutes, we were through to the level, and after that we won on penalties. And now, like the similar, I could just relate with the that last season. It was the 2012 season. It was similar for us. What happened this season and what happened the last season. The only difference was we are having so much young players, and at that time we were having our legends.
Exactly.
So really happy.
Now
mean,
we have future
that's-
legends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge plus. Like that, in the last time that we won, the team was almost at touched the peak, and probably a lot of players were about to retire. But this team is so young. You have Reece James 21, 22, Mount 22 around, Chilwell, and Kante is also not that old. He's just 30, but he still has a lot of years left with him. But
Yeah.
what a performance! And this team can win the Champions League again in the future as well.
Definitely. Yeah. So, Reece James is 21, Pulisic is 21, Mount is 22, Tammy Abraham is 23, and who else is left? Callum Hudson-Odoi is 20, and Timo Anjorin, he's another academy player who's upcoming. Billy Gilmore and these two players are 19 and 20. So imagine half of the team
Havertz-
is not even 23.
Yeah.
So
The
I think-
potential of this team is scary if you think about it, because forwards are all very young. It will only get better from here. Timo has been missing a lot of chances, but if that improves, we have had the
He
worst
missed it
conversion
again.
rate in
He missed
If
it again.
that
Regarding
improves,
Timo,
so there's a
regarding
huge
Timo,
scope for improvement. And
yeah, regarding Timo, I would like to say one thing. Maybe he's missing the chances, but we are really capitalizing on his speed. The way he moves with the ball,
That
so
is
off, that is really nice. And maybe he's not scoring, but he's helping others score in a way. And maybe hopefully he will be giving us the return of the faith that we have put on him in this season. Maybe next season, probably he'll get back to the scoring form.
I hope so, man. But still, we need a big striker.
it's not that,
Yes.
it's not that he has played bad. In fact, he has scored 4 goals, which is second highest amongst Chelsea players in Champions
Yes,
League.
yes.
But it will only get better, and to think about it will only get better is scary. There's so much potential.
And he has a
Unlike
good work
2012,
rate. He has a
when-
very good work rate.
Yeah.
So I remember, like, when we were signing Kai Havertz, so everybody was saying he's a generational talent. That's why, like, even if you're spending this much money on him, it'll be worth it. And
Yeah.
I think, like, he won.
Nobody thought it will improve, but everybody thought it was for future. Nobody thought it will repay this season itself. That
Yeah,
is
that's
amazing.
That's a good master strategy. I mean, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And when he came in, everybody thought that his work rate is not too much because he's lethargic on. Seems like he's lethargic on pitch, but earlier this day I was looking at stats for work rate, and turns out Kai Havertz is amongst the top 3 when you see minutes played, and his work rate has been 130 meters per minute, which is at par with Kante and Bernardo Silva for Champions League. So it seemed like he's lethargic on the pitch, but he's very smart with his movements, and Tuchel has made sure that he works for it. So he's been amazing. And
Yeah.
for the last end of the Premier League season, he wasn't a regular in the team. And yesterday when he played, the team looked completely different with him in the team. So yeah, Kai
I mean,
Havertz is
now,
going to be amazing.
Yeah. So now let's move to the next part of the video. Let's talk about the match yesterday. I mean, for the top class defending, it was everyone was at their best. You take Rudiger, you take Azpilicueta, you take Kante as always. Kante was just simply sensational, and even
I think-
Jorginho.
Crazy.
And the biggest blessing that we had was Mateo Lahoz, the referee. So what do you guys want to say on that?
I think I'll go first on this because I think Viraj, you mentioned, like, you forgot to mention the most important player that we had, like the most important defender we had yesterday was Reece James. I mean,
Reece James.
Yeah.
for a guy that young, he is just too talented to believe that he's just come up in the team in the second year of his playing, like in the senior squad. Like, I mean, Sterling, who is a world-class striker, could not just get ahead of him. Only in 90 minutes he was able to like beat him once in the whole match, and he just nailed the City squad on that wing. He could not, like, he was a wall back then.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was brilliant defensively. Everyone, no doubt on that.
To add to that, Tuchel made sure he played in that position, to tackle Foden and Sterling, because only he has the pace. Azpilicueta does not have the space to be able to stop these two. And Reece would have been, had he been playing wider in the wing, he would have been good for attacking. But yesterday the focus was to defend, and Reece was perfect for that position to tackle Sterling. And perfect tactics from Tuchel
For
when it comes to
me,
defense.
For me, the match was obviously, I mean, I was enjoying it like anything. And, maybe this after, I think last it was during when Conte was in charge. So at that point of time, I had that kind of confidence that we will win this, we'll win any game. So after such a long period of time, with the amount of work that has been put on transforming this defense, now I feel that yes, we can do anything. And as there is a saying now that attack wins you matches, but defense wins you tournaments. So the way Tuchel has converted our defense, transformed. No doubt they are very good players, but the presence of Thiago Silva and even for that matter Rudiger and Azpilicueta, our leader. So the presence they had in this team, in the entire defense, so it is just rock solid. And the young players like Reece James, like Sterling even though Sterling was having a very bad season this time, but for that matter, he's a world-class player, but still he was in the pockets of our Reece James. So really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot to mention
Chelsea has
Chilwell.
conceded just one goal in knockouts.
Yes.
Yeah, Mendy
And-
also, we forgot to mention Mendy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we are forgetting names. Just sorry to Chelsea TV and Chelsea fans out there. It's just that we are so excited we are forgetting names. But at the end, I would say the credit goes to the whole team. We'll move on to
Whole
City
team.
and Pep Guardiola as well, and their fans. That's the latter part of the video. Let's just continue some more things about Chelsea. This interim manager stuff has worked for us again. Remember last time Andres Villa's post was sacked, Di Matteo came in and we won the Champions League, and now it has happened again. But this time we have to give credits to Lampard. I mean, he laid the foundation. Don't you think, guys?
Yeah,
That is
definitely. And one more person, Peter Cech. When he bought Mendy, that was, I think that he had that vision that this guy can do anything. That guy was, I think, jobless for 7 years
Yeah,
in a row.
he was unemployed.
And, he was unemployed, and look what he did. I mean, it is unbelievable. After watching Kepa, Mendy was a huge improvement over him.
I remember one thing. Yes, Anuj, you carry on first, then I'll share the joke.
no, just one line.
Yeah.
They also
go
had the
ahead.
vision that Kepa is good for nothing, so they needed to get someone.
That's true. But when I think there was a meme being shared last time that Kepa was consoling Aguero, so they were saying that Chelsea manager consoling Kepa is like, अब ये काम है भाई,
Because
गलत है ना.
there's this thing called sunk cost fallacy. If you have invested so much in one player, there is a tendency to stick with it. Thankfully,
Yes.
they did not do that.
Yeah, and usually it's a tendency of our owner Roman Abramovich. If he spends on someone, he sticks to it. I mean, even Torres had
Yeah.
like bad years, but he was trusted upon. I think same will be done with Timo Werner also. But still,
I would say that-
with Kepa, we did not do the same thing. I'm thankful for that.
But Torres was still better than Timo. I mean, he knew how to shoot.
Obviously, Torres was world class, and probably I
Fernando
claim to
Torres.
be his biggest fan, maybe.
Hey, for a striker, you at least expect him to connect to the ball. Yesterday, in the first 10-15 minutes, he did not even connect. That was such a good chance. Matlab, other than speed, he has nothing to offer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
As
the
of
basic role of
today,
a striker,
he might.
to shoot.
Yeah, but I think we should give more credit to Frank Lampard for bringing this team together. I mean, if you get any manager and you tell him that you cannot buy any player for 1 year, anybody would freak out. And his love for the club, he accepted a job and he has no experience, but he knew that he can bring something to the club, and he did. Like finishing in top 4 in the first year without any transfers. I mean, it's insane. It's completely insane. With imagine all the young players he got, and I mean, we have to give him a lot of credit. And
I think the most thankful person, like the person who will be thankful to Lampard the most, is Gareth Gate. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has got the fruits.
yeah, he has. I mean, the kind of players we have. I mean, I'm just so excited for I always wanted Chelsea to win the Club World Cup and the Super Cup, because we have been unlucky in the past few years. I mean, Super Cup we've never, every time we lose it. I don't know why. And Club World Cup also we did not win it last time. So I really hope that this year we actually do it, because that's the only trophy that we have not won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Absolutely, we'll go ahead with it. Now let's come on to the this pundits part. These so-called high-profile pundits of the footballing world. ESPN and every other and normal YouTubers. They all were saying Man City 2, Chelsea 0, Man City 2, Chelsea 0. Man City will destroy Chelsea. Just to come to Steve Nicol, whatever he says, the opposite of that happens every time. He and Ale Moreno. I don't know these guys. Why are they so afraid from Chelsea, or it's like they hate Chelsea? I don't know. I don't just understand. He said the same thing, Ali Moreno and Steve Nicol, that in the semi-final, Real Madrid will destroy Chelsea, and then in the final, no chance of Chelsea. Man City will destroy Chelsea. So I just want to say thank you to Steve Nicol and Ali Moreno. What do you want to say, guys, about this?
I would say one thing: they did a very big favor to Chelsea by taking the pressure off them. Because if you are not expected to win, you can play freely. That happened in semi-finals. They bossed both the legs, and in the finals, there's nothing.
And Chelsea performs really well when they are the underdogs.
Yes.
That's been the key to success for us. I mean, we lost the final against Leicester in the FA Cup. We were the favourites, and this time,
2012 was exact same.
Yeah, 2012 was exactly.
Yeah, more or less it was same.
I mean,
think
in those games we had to do a lot of defending, though. But this time,
I think in round of 16 in 2012 we were 3-1 down to Napoli with players like Lavezzi and Cavani. We were 3-1 down and we converted in and the manager was changed and we turned it around at the bridge. So that was
that
really
was
awesome.
some match. 4-1. I think we finished 4-1 the end of the match. Yeah. But I mean, to those ESPN pundits, I would like to just repeat what Kai Havertz said. I don't give a fuck. We just won the Champions League. I mean, that's the most honest answer I've ever heard, ever.
So, yes, absolutely. ESPN pundits, now this chapter is also over. I'm sure they won't react to us. They can't. I mean, we are the winners of Europe. We are the champions of Europe. They have no chance of giving us a taunting reply. They can't do that. Now, let's come to the most exciting part. that is Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, and their City fans. You know, they were in the air for a long, long time. Don't you think so? So I'll tell you one thing. You know, these City fans, what I personally feel about them is that they were so in the air, so much in the air. We've won the league and that Tier 3 Cup, Carabao Cup, which no one gives a shit to. I don't know why they so brag about Carabao Cup. What is that?
Yeah.
It's a shitty cup. I personally feel, and according to most of the football fans, the two major trophies are the Champions League and the league. And they dominate the league. That's okay.
Yeah.
I give credit to them. Of course, they're a great team. The manager is amazing, no doubt. But you need to break their arrogance. Pep Guardiola,
exactly.
Manchester City. I mean, and the fans also. They were like, you know, we'll win, we'll beat them. And I'll tell you, I saw one of the fans. I don't want to take his name. And one of the fans commented that it's still 45 minutes. You know, they'll lose and stuff like that. On I think on one page. So he commented, and they were so like freaking nervous. They just wanted like, no, we'll win. They still had that arrogance. So they needed to be brought to ground. They needed to be humbled. Also Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other fans also, which we know,
Also,
the so-called Bayern and the Barca fans are also on his side. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So this, like the word arrogance, which you said, it is absolutely true. I'm not very sure about the fans because, like in India, City fans, it is like most of them are half Barca fans. So I don't want to comment on the fans. So the main thing is the arrogance is there with Pep Guardiola because 3 times he won the Champions League in I think 2011. After that, 3 times he with 3 different teams he came very close and he lost. You make a mistake once. Make a mistake of choosing a team once. Okay, it can be a mistake. You do it twice. You maybe it is a mistake or it's you are under pressure or something. But when you are doing it multiple times, it's not you are clearly arrogant. So there is no point like yesterday's match not playing any when you clearly know that there is a counter-attacking team and you are not playing any CDMs. So it shows that you are very arrogant. It shows that you are very arrogant and you think that whatever you do will work. But it's not any other sport. It's football. So it's unpredictable.
Exactly. Again, with the same philosophy that we want to decimate our opponents by playing 6 attacking players. What do you want to think, man? What do you want to prove? You think that you are playing against Watford or Wolves, and that have heavily paid off against them. Yes, guys.
But his strategy almost worked in the sense that had it not been for Rudiger block, maybe we would have been having a different discussion. So it did not work. But yeah.
But at the end of the day, history only remember winners. No one remembers Phil Smith and KDB Smith. So they can just go to bed. Those talks can go to bed.
But even Chelsea's that goal by Chelsea, it was just 2, 3, 4 passes and it was over. There was nothing in the midfield. It was like
open area, open space. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw such a huge space left in behind.
Yeah.
And like
a lot of people would have just missed that goal because they, if you look the other way and it was so quick. One moment the ball is with the goalkeeper and the other moment it's a goal. There was nothing, no midfield for that moment.
Heavily paid off against them. Yeah, Purvi, want to add something?
I mean, okay, people might say that, but defending is part of the sport and the defenders were doing their duty. And like, if the people think that Manchester City would have scored, they had 1 shot on target in 90 minutes. I don't know how, how can you win with 1 shot on target? We also did not have many, but we had better chances. And no pundit in the... Yeah. I could see Guardiola getting frustrated. He had lost all hopes. I mean,
usually he does. Usually he does get frustrated. Like even when he's trailing, he does something. Keeps on doing some things.
The only person who can keep his head high would be Phil Foden and Sergio Aguero. I mean, Aguero really plays for the club, and Phil Foden also played really, really well yesterday. Apart from that, I could not see that exceptional Manchester City squad.
Right. I mean, I just want to add one more thing also. That that stat, if you remember, that the debutant team never wins the final. Recently, it's been happening a lot. So a lot of guys commented on that Pep Guardiola has won 14 finals out of 15 in his career. So it just shows that football is bigger than Pep Guardiola. The history of the competition is bigger than Pep Guardiola.
Yes.
So, Pep Guardiola is just a member of football. He's not football.
Yeah.
So I think all those City fans first now should keep mum now about it. And let's see what happens to them next time. You want to add something to this, guys?
No, I think now they would have switched sides. I'm pretty sure Manchester City fans
to
will now
Barcelona.
become Chelsea fans. Yeah, maybe Barcelona. No, Barcelona because Messi is leaving, and I mean I don't know. So
Messi is
they'll
leaving?
switch to. I mean he
I don't
might
know.
leave. I mean I don't know. So I mean Barcelona is not doing well. So I don't know. They'll switch to another third club, maybe Bayern Munich because they win the league every time. So yeah, good luck finding new teams to Manchester City fans.
Anuj, you want to add something to this?
No, I just want to congratulate the whole team, not just the playing 11 yesterday, but players like Giroud. Thank you, Arsenal, for that. He scored a hat-trick against Sevilla, scored a very great goal against Atletico. The Hudson-Odoi scored goals. Pulisic was playing yesterday. But there are a lot of players who did not play yesterday. Lampard was in the first half of the season. So it was a team effort. The fact that there was no Chelsea scorer in the top 5 top scorers of CL, and there is no assist maker also in top 5, shows that it was a complete team effort. So yeah, unlike all the past champions. So yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
So guys, let's also move to another important part of this final. N'Golo Kante. I mean, you can't love that guy less. What do you want to say about that guy? He was everywhere on the pitch. He was making those important interceptions. You talk about KDB. He was lunging from behind into KDB's feet and he was clearing the ball. It was just a world-class performance. I mean, KDB was also nowhere in the final.
Yeah.
So like starting with the story we all know, Kante was nowhere in 2014. I think he was playing in League 2, and after that, like he has won everything. Everything there is to be won, and now we are hoping for the Euros. And in my opinion, I think if considering this season, if France is going to win Euro, I think he is a very serious contender for Ballon d'Or. N'Golo Kante. So, and that player is just awesome. I mean, you cannot hate him. Nobody can hate him. Maybe it's his smile, or maybe it's his humbleness, or maybe like it is said that 70% of the earth is covered with water and the rest is covered with N'Golo Kante, covered by N'Golo Kante. So maybe for that fact, you cannot hate that player. You just cannot hate that player. Like he is the most important part of Chelsea.
Yeah, he's too humble. He did not even touch the trophy properly yesterday. Everybody was spending some time with the trophy, but he was, I don't know. And yesterday, I mean, I don't know if anybody noticed. He tried to waste time, but he could not do it. Like he tried to act, but after saying, he's like, okay, that's not my thing. I'll just get up.
He's an introvert, camera shy pussy. He lives in his own world.
But yeah, he's an amazing.
He's one player which, for every other position, Chelsea has 2 or 3 substitutes, but he's one player Chelsea will struggle to replace. And he's 29, 30 now. 2 years down the line, they'll have to find someone, Declan Rice, or I don't know. But they'll struggle to replace him, and that is the only thing that will stop Chelsea if they don't find a. Otherwise, things are all perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So, guys, I have one more very important question regarding this final. Like Manchester City played in the final for the first time, but they were not looking like the typical Manchester City. We all saw that the domination that they do in the league. Whereas, coming to the Chelsea's part, we also had a lot of new players who were playing the final for the first time. Same was with Manchester City. So where did the difference lie? Why were Chelsea so better than Manchester City, despite almost like playing with new players, both the teams playing with new players, no experience as in the conference? What do you want to say on that?
I think like there are a lot of points. Maybe Tuchel has like transformed the team, so all those things are there. But the most important thing, which I feel, is the dressing room environment. I have never seen such a friendly and atmosphere with any teams. Like I follow a lot of teams on Instagram, a lot of players, but the kind of environment that was there in our dressing room before and after winning the trophy. So that is something different. All are young, all are more or less the same age, and in their midst there are aged, and I would not say aged people. They are leaders like Giroud and Azpilicueta. So like that environment which has been created in our club, that is really nice, and that has a lot to like the final. That was a big reason that we won.
Yeah, and I think one more, psychologically, maybe we were a little, I don't know. I mean, there was, could be that, they lost twice to us. So maybe psychologically also, it must have
But then
impacted.
their fans were saying that, we were playing with the B team, so what? We haven't faced our best team. That was also a point from a lot of City fans. And the
Maybe.
pundits, so-called pundits.
Yeah, but like we stopped.
These
like
two things actually, these two things worked in consonance. First of all, we had beaten them twice in very recent history. So add to that, the pressure was still on City to win because they were the favorites despite losing twice. So we had, even though beaten them twice, we had no pressure whatsoever because first of all, the team is young. They were not expected to win. So that worked. Other than that, tactically, I think there was, other than 2-3 moments, it did not look like City would break through the Chelsea defense at any moment in the game. So tactically, it was the biggest reason why. Had it been any other day, we might have lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Had there
small
been Bayern
moments
Munich
that,
or a big experience,
had
we would have been cursing Timo Werner.
Had that Foden goal. There are very small moments that differentiate. Had that Foden goal gone in, so that's.
But you know what? When I saw that Foden couldn't shoot, and what a brilliant piece of defending by Rudiger, I thought that today is our day. I just had that feeling that today is our day. It's going to be.
Yeah.
So guys, now let's move to this Manchester City part. As we all know that they were the favorites, or they were expected to win because they had the best manager, Pep Guardiola. They had the best financial funding that one could possibly dream of, but still they collapsed. So why was that? I mean, because I personally felt that the guys just forgot how to play football. Their one touches were horrible. I mean, you look at Kyle Walker; he was crossing on the other flank, and the ball was going outside the touchline. So that kind of passing, and then KDB was also looking merely average. And in the second half, I thought that they'll come back stronger, but that didn't happen. I thought Guardiola will dominate. So I mean, it was like they lacked the mentality or the belief to win a European final.
I really believe that City squad, if you see the players individually, they are brilliant players. I mean, I've become a Phil Foden fan after yesterday. I mean, the way he played, and even though Aguero has scored a lot of goals against Chelsea, but I still love him for what player he is. But I don't know. I think Guardiola should be responsible for yesterday's loss. I mean, a lot of pundits also point out if he would have started Fernandinho, things would have been better for them. And yeah, it happens sometimes. Some people choke, and but I think we outclassed them in strategy as well as maybe in the mind,
on the pitch also.
Yeah. That worked for us. Yeah.
So
Yes,
I personally can't agree more with Apoorv because yes, Guardiola is the only person who should be responsible for this, because in any knockout game, the pressure would be same. As you said that maybe they forgot football, playing football or something, but the pressure would be same on both the teams. But in those situations, the manager or any leader, he comes into play. And the decisions that were taken by Guardiola, I think even for that matter, the starting team, everybody knows the starting lineup, the lack of Fernandinho or Rodri for that matter, they paid heavily for it. And their tops, I think most number of goals were scored by, for City, scored by this guy, Gundogan. And he had to take that role, that defensive role, whereas most of the season he was playing in an attacking role. And one of the best midfielders of all time, I would say, Premier League midfielders, our Kevin De Bruyne, he was clueless. He was, I don't know, he was playing a striker or Phil Foden, or for that matter, Phil
He
Foden
was playing as a
also.
false number 9.
I don't know, it was a false nine or what, but he was completely clueless. Like, I would say that Guardiola got it wrong, like in all
Completely
the
wrong.
aspects.
I mean, it didn't look like the KDB that we know, the dominating KDB in Premier League.
Yeah.
That's why he falters in most of the knockout tournaments. He falters in every knockout tournament. I mean, you see the Champions League history. That 2011 team was something else. Like I would not that Barcelona is something else. But other than that, he has faltered everywhere. So he has only leagues.
That's the thing about knockouts.
Yeah.
You can't make even a single mistake throughout the 8 matches that you play. But I'll be a little lenient on Guardiola because he has consistently dominated league, which I agree is a different ball game. But in hindsight, we may think that strategy did not work out. But had it been for those 1 or 2 moments, they may have won. But yeah, in hindsight, it did not work out. So
Yeah,
they
exactly.
clearly had a better team.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, I have no ill feelings for Guardiola and Manchester City. They are a brilliant squad. They are the benchmark. I mean, even Tuchel admitted that in the press conference, and even he was surprised that I was expecting Fernandinho or Rodri to start that in the post-match conference. Even he was surprised with that. But I think, as I said, let's get back to the stat. As I said, the first final we always lose. That stat has dominated yet again. The pressure curse goes on again. The debutant curse goes on again. But I mean, let's wish good for Manchester City. Maybe they can win it next time and create history with that.
Yeah. Actually, had City won yesterday, everybody would have been raving about Guardiola, how he, experimented in the final and won the match. It did not happen.
But I think that it's a good result.
It did not happen. My life would have been difficult had it happened.
I think that's what I'm. City fans need to hit the ground. They need to be grounded. They need to be humble. Guardiola and that City fans. So that stat of 15 finals, 14-1. That is now 16 out of 14. So that's good. Maybe next time they'll be more careful and won't commit such a mistake of not playing CDM.
Yeah, and that too such a imposing thing. You need somebody, imposing on the ground. Like, if imagine we don't play Azpilicueta. Like, they would nobody to command the whole squad. I mean, for them, Fernandinho is the same. So maybe, I don't know, like sometimes these strategies work, sometimes they don't. But luckily, it did not work for them and it worked for us.
I think Pep overthinked it. He just overthinked it. He has done these mistakes in the Champions League as well, in the quarters and all that, wherever he has got eliminated, and he did it again. The most surprising.
And to Chelsea's credit, they made him overthink it because they beat him twice.
That also is a very good point. I mean, Tuchel had to win it. Tuchel and Thiago Silva, one cheer for them also because they were the runners-up. And what a hustling story that was. What a hustle, and the way they have won it again. I mean, they have won it this time. It's unbelievable. The hats off to Tuchel and Thiago Silva.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted us to win for him.
Silence for PSG.
Yes, Apurva and Anuj, please.
No, I said 2-minute silence for PSG.
I mean, so I've never seen Thiago Silva trash talk anybody or misbehave with anybody. He's such a gentle person, and he had not won Premier League, and he came to Chelsea and winning here. I think, I mean I felt good watching that.
Exactly.
Even if he plays for like 45 minutes, in his age, it is very difficult. Like we see that he ends up getting substituted in most of the games, but even that presence he has in the dressing room, the presence he has on the other players, that is really commendable. That is what Thiago Silva is.
Yeah.
And we didn't miss him. Christensen just replaced him perfectly. I mean, what a brilliant performance by Christensen also in
Christensen.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's so amazing.
Champions League is.
Please.
Champions League, a lot of it is about tactics, but a lot of it is also about character. if you see how Real Madrid won for 3 continuous years, even though they did not win the league, it was because of the character, and that is what Champions League is, because it's knockout.
It's
That
mentality, it's character, it's belief, and they those guys did it 3 years in a row. That's a big thing. That's a big thing.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why Zidane must be in big demand right now.
Yeah, he should be. But I'm so happy that, you know, in the Euros, we'll see all our Chelsea players. I think the starting lineup that we saw yesterday, I think all of them will be playing for their country, except Tammy Abraham. I think all the players are going to play for their country. Hudson-Odoi and Tammy Abraham. I think everybody's going to play. Gilmore also.
Reece has a lot of competition for his.
Yeah, Reece James will have a competition.
Yeah, but I think he put up a great case yesterday for him to start ahead of Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
Even for that matter, Azpilicueta getting a call for Spain, like it's really nice. He has not got for like even I think World Cups he missed maybe if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. Yeah.
There was a lot of competition for places. I think he didn't play because there were a lot of guys.
Now I say he's getting the call, so it's really nice. And of course, N'Golo Kante for France.
N'Golo is there.
Yeah, but
so guys, it was like, you want to add something?
No, I don't know. I mean, this year has been very tough on all Chelsea supporters, and you know, I mean,
plus also. Yes, a very tough time also, the pandemic and all, and then when the team gives us so much happiness in the middle of this pandemic, I mean, it's unbelievable. We are truly so happy with the result.
Yeah, and I mean, now I think finally, like, people always thought that, you know, Chelsea have, you know, won so everything with their money, and I think now people will start looking at Chelsea as in a different light because of all the young players that we had utilized this time, and I mean, with all the homegrown players.
So thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. It was a lovely talk. Also for all the viewers watching out there, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And of course, the football season has ended, but we'll bring some videos on the Euros that are starting next month. And also, I wish that we can have a great season. The next season, we can have a wonderful season. We can cap Manchester City in the league and probably can do well in the Champions League again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.